morning, everyone. I hope you're all well. Great to see so many faces. It's such a privilege to be back here at Sunset. I was at the Media Festival last year, and to see the growth from one year to the next is just so exciting. And one thing that's remained consistent is just the stellar lineup of people who are changing the game of the digital media space, in particular in sport across the world. So Damien already introduced us to our guests. I will just run through everyone once more, and then they'll give you a brief introduction as to what they do and how that role is within the digital media space, something that I guess we all need to know about, something that has become so needed within this space. So to our furthest right, Tania Moreno, then we have Sharon, then we've got Mate, and then Stefano. Tania, if you could start with us telling us about your role at AC Milan, please.
Yeah, so my voice is a little squeaky today. I had too much fun a couple nights ago yelling for 3 hours over the loud music. But so I'm the CMO of AC Milan. I've been in the role since October. And essentially, I'm in charge of anything from social media, content creation, production, stadium entertainment, broadcast, stadium production, what else? Anything that really touches a consumer's and fan base is what my team does. And we created just a little short video, if you want to play that, for some of the types of content that we create for the club for our fans around the world to enjoy. Please.
I'm exceptional, way above average. Obstacles don't stand a chance. Against me, better make up the plan. It doesn't matter what nobody tells you. Believe in yourself, power comes from within. I know they counted you out and they left you for dead. It don't matter, you're still gonna win. It doesn't matter when nobody tells you. Believe in yourself, power comes from within. If they counted you out, it doesn't matter, you're still gonna win. It doesn't matter what nobody tells you. Believe in yourself, power comes from within. I know they counted you out and they left you for dead. It don't matter, you're still gonna win. It doesn't matter when nobody tells you. Believe in yourself, power comes from within. If they counted you out, it doesn't matter, you're still gonna win. It doesn't matter what nobody tells you. Believe in yourself, power comes from within. Win, win, win. I'm unstoppable, I gotta win. I'm unstoppable, I gotta win. I'm unstoppable, I gotta win. I got to win.
Thank you, Tania. I think it's clear to see that AC Milan is more than just a football club, a fashion institution, perhaps. You've got the cars involved there. We'll get into how, I guess, results on the pitch can maybe impact how the brand is perceived and how people connect with it. But I mentioned we've got such a varied panel, so moving from football or soccer, depending where people are from in the audience, to basketball. We've got the head of content and social media, Sharon Fuller. Could you please tell us a little about your role?
It's lovely to be here, and my voice is only slightly better, so you'll have to forgive us. It's been an excellent conference so far. So my job is the head of content and social for Europe and the Middle East for the NBA, which is a brilliant, amazing, and challenging role because, as I'm sure you understand, I'm feeling a little bit tired right now because it's the finals, and that means that my team is up at 2:30 in the morning to watch and cover those games for our European audience. So my role is really about growing our fandom across all of Europe and the Middle East, across the 70 countries that we look after. It encompasses everything from our social media accounts, so thinking about what's going to go viral on social all the way through until series that we might be working on with Netflix, for example. So it's super varied, really international, and I think on a daily basis, my team is delivering content in 7 to 8 different languages across 16 different social media accounts.
Amazing, thank you. So we touched on football in Italy, the NBA in Europe and the Middle East. We're going back to football, but I guess a bit closer to home. We have Mate here. who's a specialist of digital innovation specialist for FC Dinamo Zagreb. Don't think we need much introductions about that, but tell us a bit about your role and the club for those who aren't from Croatia.
Yes, hello, my name is Mate. I'm working like a digital innovation specialist at the greatest club, I think, in the region, football club for sure. We have, since 5 years, we have like a more digital department at the club where I am for the digital innovations, licensing deals, digital assets, everything which is engaging fans on a national and international level.
And I believe you've got a video for us to give
Yes.
us a little flavor of what FC Dinamo Zagreb is about.
Yes, it's about our app. We relaunched a new app, and it's a new ecosystem for the club, a digital ecosystem, which is also a white label. It can be implemented in any sports, but I think we did a great job at that application, and we'll make it further more in the future. So yeah, please play the little video.
Thank you, Mate. It looks very exciting there. We'll talk about the app and how that's helped with the fan base. So we've covered specific sports, different regions, and then to tie things up, we've got the media perspective. Of course, the media is so important when it comes to sport and how it's portrayed and bringing in new fans. So to help us give us that angle of things, we're joined by Stefano Pollard, who's the head of digital marketing at Gazzetta dello Sport. If you're not familiar with this institution, Stefano, could you give us a brief overview about this newspaper that has been around? I guess you told me it's the first ever sports newspaper in the world.
Exactly. Like it's the first and the oldest sports newspaper in the world since 1897. It has been the first newspaper telling about the Olympic Games all over the world. So more than 125 years out there. And my role and my challenge is trying to grow and increase the digital business of Gazzetta dello Sport. So I'm not a journalist, I'm a manager trying to make out the most of the business out what our 150 journalists produce every day.
So I guess that takes us on to the next part of the discussion, because you said that you're trying to grow the digital side of things. Traditionally, Gazzetta dello Sport, of course, was a newspaper, a physical thing that people went out to buy. When and how do you think that trend changed, and when did you feel that the newspaper thought they needed to invest heavily in the digital space?
Okay, traditionally, as you said, Gazzetta dello Sport has been selling newspaper at kiosk for all this history. In the golden age, in the 90s, early 2000s, was selling more between 600,000 and 900,000 copies per day. And from the beginning of the 2000, that business has slightly decreased. Now we're selling something like 80,000. So from 900,000 to 80,000, you can imagine the streams of revenue going, like traditional stream of revenues going down, and also the advertising linked to the paper business going down. Since the beginning of the late 90s, so our website was launched in 1997. Of course, was very small. From the beginning of the 2000, of course, the company start increasing investments, and like the first boom of our digital business has been in 2006 with Italy winning the World Cup, of course, with some records of unique users and stuff. And since then, we are the first sports digital media in Italy. We have around 20 million unique users per month, 3 million unique users per day. And just to give you a reference, TikTok in Italy has 15, 16 million unique users, so we are bigger than TikTok. So, and of course, we are more a male media. We attract more than 80% of Italian males. We are really a local business compared to the others because, of course, we're just Italian, but pretty big, I mean.
And what do you think has been key to those numbers? Because you mentioned there that you have more subscribers than there are users on TikTok, and TikTok is such a huge thing now, especially amongst the younger generation.
Not subscribers, actually. I would have so many subscribers, like say unique users, so people that comes on our website and read news for free. Then we have a separate business that is the subscribing business, so people that pays for our content. What are the keys for those numbers? Of course, the brand, such an historical brand with such an heritage in Italy. Our awareness in Italy, it's pretty much 100%. Everyone knows Gazzetta dello Sport, and being linked to all the football success mainly, and all the Italian Euro success, all the gold medals at the Olympic Games, all the wins of our national teams. I've been told by Gazzetta dello Sport, and our first page is quite iconical in Italy. You know, whenever something big happens in sport in Italy, it's on Gazzetta dello Sport. And what we pretend to say, it's if Gazzetta dello Sport doesn't speak about something, it doesn't exist in sport in Italy.
Okay. Now, Matteo, coming to you, digital innovation specialist. I can't imagine that role was around 5-10 years ago. So when did FC Dinamo Zagreb reach out to you? What was the landscape at the club when it came to their approach about digital media when you joined?
So I joined 5 years ago, and I was not immediately a digital innovation specialist. Right. I joined the media section of Dinamo, and we had at that moment 2 social media channels, Instagram and Facebook, like very basic. It was good, it was some engagement and so on. And then I saw the opportunity and always was looking out for finding new digital revenue streams for the club, because it's very important to have a financial stability at clubs. Of course, of the size of Dinamo, it was not easy, but at the beginning it was like looking for licensing deals. It's maybe interesting because big clubs, partners reach out to the big clubs. We have the opposite.
So you're looking for them.
Yeah, we are looking for them. We are looking what the others are doing and want to contact them, and then we are contacting them. For example, only Dinamo was at EA, Electronic Arts, FIFA at that time. The only club in the whole region. Konami with Football Manager or eFootball. So it was always we are looking for them and presenting them the possibility to work with us. Also later, I was in discussions with Socios. I think also Milan is a partner of them. So they didn't reach out to us, and they were always very nice to us. Say, yeah, you're a big club, a regional, but you know we have now fan token offering from AC Milano or from Arsenal and so on, and that is very important. Then the narrative changed when we won against Tottenham 3-0. And I sent them a photo from me with Jose Mourinho, who was very sad, and I was smiling, and said, now everybody knows about Dinamo Zagreb. And that changed immediately the conversation in future cooperation. So yes, and then I started to be the digital innovation specialist with that.
Did you have any pushback internally when you said that we need to explore this area and try and take advantage of it, not just from a perspective of increasing revenue, but also brand awareness?
Yes, sometimes you have some pushbacks because the structure of the employment at clubs is very, let's say, from very young people to some guys which are 20, 30 years there, and you have to convince them and explain that fan engagement in a two-way digital communication is the only way to attract younger audience. The younger audience you want to attract is your future fan, and without that, Dinamo will not expand or be bigger than it is today. And yes, at the beginning it of course always pushbacks, also implementing, find a way to show the fans how they can use fan tokens or, for example, NFTs. We were the first club in the region who make their own NFTs after with other platforms. because it's very important for me to say that we cannot hire 20 people to do for us all things technical and so on. So we are reaching always for partners and see to find a common way where we find a great solution for our fans.
Coming to you, Sharon, Mate there touched on other clubs potentially influencing what they were looking to do. Other sports, when I think of the NBA, I think of a brand that's forward pushing, they like to push boundaries, tell stories. How was it trying to translate that well-known brand in America that is so loved to then trying to garner attention and new fans in a part of the world where basketball isn't that big, in Europe and the Middle East?
It's a very good question. That's my job every day. So, I mean, we have to tackle the problem, tackle the challenge in a kind of data-driven, data-informed way, and you can only do so many things, so you also have to prioritize it. And actually, thinking quite tactically about it, we have 7 key markets that we've broken down and decided which they are by potential audience growth, potential revenue, and then also interest in basketball and sport in general, because we look at people as people who are interested in music and fashion and everything else, and so we have a lot of data about our crossover audiences that we take advantage of. And to kind of put that into practice, this last week, as we're going into the finals, you know, we don't expect all of our fans to be getting up in the morning like my team does. So, you know, we have to translate it into something that means something for people and give them reasons to care. So we will focus more on our local heroes, our regional heroes, and I'm very lucky to have joined the NBA in the era of Victor Wembanyama as well, which was something that we were preparing for quite a long time, to build him as a character and build reasons to care about him and his backstory across all of the different channels that we have. But in this last week, we've done a lot of crossovers with football players. We did a big piece with F1 just before the first game of the finals, getting the drivers to give us their predictions. And so we really think about what's our sphere of influence, what's the influencers and talent and celebrities that we work with, as well as our social channels. And then we collect all of the data and measure all of the data, and then we segment it so we can really see where the growth is happening. I say that like it's all fully planned, but it really isn't. A lot of things you have to test and trial and see what works, and then build on what works, and then drop the stuff that doesn't.
And what have you found has been successful in your time there? Because you've been there for about a year, right?
Just over a year, yeah. It's been a whirlwind. In that time, we've launched an in-season tournament, which is now the Emirates Cup. We had just relaunched the NBA app and the new version of League Pass, which is our subscription service in that time. And then also to have a big player come from our region, a big new player come from our region, on top of the 63 other European players that we have in the league as well, which is a great advantage to us. Actually, what's working is really focusing on local first, and that's why we do so much content in different languages. So what we don't do is repeat everything that happens on the global channels, because we assume if you're a fan of the NBA, you probably follow @NBA, or you're already an NBA ID subscriber, or you might have League Pass. So actually, it's like, how can we take that to the next level and make it really locally relevant? And that's why my social media team are based in 7 different countries. They live and breathe what it is to be a basketball fan in those markets, and they give us lots of feedback about what's working, what doesn't work, and what the audience and the consumers really feel strongly about.
That's really interesting. And for those who aren't familiar with Victor, could you just break it down for us?
He is the French sensation. He will be, and almost is already, the biggest international player that we have in the NBA, literally and metaphorically speaking. Yeah. I think he's officially 7'5".
So taller than Damian, wherever he is.
Taller than Damian by at least this much. But he is young. He came through the French system, which is also really interesting. He hasn't played in college in the US. But he's super intelligent, multilingual, and he hit more than 1 billion video views on his social channels before the end of his first season. I think actually now it's 1.3 billion video views in his first year in the NBA.
Wow. And that also tells the NBA that it's worth investing in those other markets as well, to try and find new talent to help build their brand globally. Tanya, coming to you then. AC Milan, you've been there also for about a year. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah. And AC Milan, obviously quite interesting recent history, new ownership, a part of the world that you're very familiar with. How has that new ownership, I guess, impacted your role, and has it changed the culture within the club at all?
Yeah, so Redbird Capital Partners bought the team almost 2 years ago. They're a private equity fund, and they're really, really well connected. They're part owners of the Yankees. They're investors in Fenway Sports Group, so that's Liverpool, the Boston Red Sox, the Penguins, etc. When they bought the team, they brought me with them. So quick background, my dad played for AC Milan in the 70s. In like the youth academies, was never good enough to make it. So he went back to med school. So I have really big shoes to fill there. But my dad's Italian, my mom is Swiss. So I spoke the language. I was a fan of the team. I understood the culture, and have worked in different facets of marketing in the US, from retail to media to sports. And so when they bought the team, they brought me with them to kind of consult on, how do we help grow the international fan base, in particular the United States. The reason for the United States is there's so many reasons, but there's a lot of revenue opportunities there. You have a fan base that is actually monetizable, unlike some other countries where they may follow along, but they're never going to spend a cent with you. And so it's been a really fun journey. What we realize is that AC Milan has 98% brand awareness globally. We have over 550 million fans around the world, and the majority of that was from the success on the pitch in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. So after you ask people, tell me a little bit about AC Milan, that's where the drop-off happened. And so we very quickly realized that we've got to evolve the brand, we have to modernize it, and we have to be able to future-proof it, so if we don't get the performance on the pitch that we want, and then the Gazzetta nails us for it, that we have something else to build off of. So I'll give you 2 examples which are really fun. It was a week after I was a CMO in the role, and there was a game where our striker, Olivier Giroud, decided to make himself the goalkeeper because our goalkeeper had gotten a red card and we needed a goalkeeper. So he threw on our goalkeeper's jersey, made a game-saving save, and really quickly I was like, guys, we got to put him on our roster as a goalkeeper. So within a few hours, we had him on the roster on our app and on our website as a goalkeeper. And then guess what? We always have to think about how do we monetize these moments. And we started selling Giroud goalkeeper jerseys and sold out within, I think, 35 minutes. So that's super fun. So trying to extend sort of the fandom and some of those cultural moments, yes, sometimes related to the pitch, but off the pitch. And then the second example I'll give is in February, we launched our 4th kit, which was the best-selling kit in AC Milan history, and AC Milan is 125 years old. We're going into our 125th season, and it was a collaboration with an American streetwear company, and Puma, the streetwear company being, oh my God, I'm going to blank on this. Oh my gosh. I'll come back to it. They're friends of mine too. And essentially, there's 2 kits. There's a light version and a dark version. And
Pleasures.
Yes, pleasures. Oh my gosh. So sorry. And we played into like the fashion and the culture side. It's not your traditional red and black stripes, which the hardcore fan base would want. And we sold over 500,000 in, I think, 12 hours of launch worth of jerseys, which is really exciting. So trying to transition and evolve the brand globally so that it resonates with what I love to call your fan in waiting. So they're playing in music, fashion, tech, and they know of AC Milan, but they're not really sure what to love about it if they're not a hardcore football fan.
Thank you. It's incredible how quickly the time's going. We will open the floor for questions in just over 5 minutes. But to round the chat up, you've all touched on the challenges you faced and also what's worked for you. We're obviously at a sports media festival. Looking ahead in your respective fields, how do you see the digital media space going? And I'll come to you first, Stefano.
One of the key trends for digital medias over the last 3-5 years has been subscriptions. And I think still is going to be the case over the next 5 to 10 years, just because the direct monetization of fans is going to be key for all of us, I guess, but like for media more than the others, because it's like the reason to survive for our business. So I would say subscriptions, let's say new, for me, our challenge is like for traditional media is trying to be where the readers and the users are, so turning from a really traditional paper business to a multimedia business, so being on Spotify with podcasts, being on YouTube with video formats, and it's a kind of hard transition for traditional media like ours.
And very quickly, obviously, you're an Italian paper. Has there been consideration about making content in English? Where does that stand?
Other local medias already faced this issue and open English account. For example, within our group, we have Marca in Spain that open English accounts and is booming in the US. So we are wondering, and we are discussing it now in these months, to open an English accounts to open the US market, for example, the problem is finding the right positioning, no? And we're thinking that the right position for Gazzetta is really being the main international media speaking about Serie A, no? We wouldn't speak about NFL, NBA, because we wouldn't be as credible as other US media, for example. But probably we could be very, very credible on speaking about Serie A all over the world.
Thank you. Mate?
Yes, I think for us at Dynamo is it now also with the new app, digitalizing every fan experience, every fan interaction, from buying beer at the stadium to engage them with quizzes and match predictions, and migrate the fans back from partner websites back to our application. So to have more data, because I think we can learn about and tailor afterwards, tailor so the fan experience for our supporters. This is one way. Also, we want to make more activations. We did with Socios, for example, Live the Dream, where supporters from Dinamo Zagreb, which were on the website, came to our football game and played on the main pitch with legends together, and that was a great experience for us as a club, also for all the supporters. There was one young lady which played, and she told me after that her grandfather was at the stadium and watched her, because he's a big Dinamo Zagreb supporter, and his son never made it to the first team. And then his granddaughter came out of the tunnel on the pitch. The music, the referees, the jerseys, everyone was like first team, first competition game. And he has tears in his eyes, and 2 weeks later he died in a hospital. So, but the dream come true, and this is something you cannot expect with every activation, but it's very nice to make more of these things. Yeah.
And I guess also the storytelling, connecting with the
absolutely.
fans, that genuine bond there helps. And coming to you, Sharon, then, what is the future for the NBA in Europe and the Middle East? Or how do you see it panning out?
There's two kind of different immediate priorities, and one of them is a technology answer, and the other one is about fans. So actually, our priority with our digital products is to really make them a personalised experience and try and make it as easy as possible to follow the NBA if you are interested in the NBA. And I realise all of the challenges that are involved in that, and one piece of that answer might be AI. And so we've been working on some solutions to try and do actual live AI commentary in different languages. Obviously, this is not perfect, and it takes time, and it still has to be reviewed by humans. But the future of actually our personalised content and how we can reach more fans is about how we can expand the different languages and localisation that we work with to create that more personalised experience.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, I can really quickly touch on that as well. I think for us, AI, we're looking at how artificial intelligence can help us become more efficient in the front office, so that there's a lot of cost savings that we can invest back into players and the performance on the pitch. So we're using AI for very similar ways. You know, we have our previous coach only spoke Italian, and so all his post-game interviews are in Italian. You can use AI now to actually make his mouth move in the language that you want, using his voice in however many languages that you want, which is really exciting.
And did AC Milan do that then?
Yeah. And I mean, we're still testing it out and we're using it for the right moments. But even something as simple as, unfortunately, in the football world, racism is still pretty rampant. And so we leverage AI to delete automatically hate speech from our social channels. It's okay to not always be positive, but like there's just no room for hate on our social channels. So we leverage AI to just very quickly filter for specific words and completely delete comments. So that could easily be somebody's full-time job every day sorting through comments. You no longer need that position, and you can spend that revenue or that those costs for a better player, a better striker, a coach, anything like that to help with the pitch performance.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, guys. I believe we have someone with a microphone. Any questions briefly before we go? There's one at the back, please. Right at the back. Yeah. If you wouldn't mind just introducing yourself, and then if it's for anyone then specifically, let us know.
Yes, hello, I'm Ivan. I would like to ask Tanya a pretty specific question about AC Milan and the whole metamorphosis of the club, because when the Redbird Capital Investment took over, there was this huge PR, I guess, battle with the sacking of Maldini and all the old guard, because Maldinis are like royalty in Milan. And now there is this entire new posture at the club going the analytic way, like having Ajax and other clubs as role models. So I was just looking at media. I guess it's an ongoing war, like pitching this new club to fans and to public. So what are your experiences about this?
Yeah, look, it's really difficult. Change is hard. Can't really speak too much about what it's an evolution, right? So my personal opinion is you can't run a club purely on data, 100% on data. If you take a look at the Yankees last season, according to the data, they had the best team that they could have possibly put together, and they didn't even make the playoffs. This year, they're knocking it out of the park, pun intended, and they're top of their classifications, which is awesome. So I think it's pretty uncommon, I think, in Serie A to have this evolution of looking at analytics, but it has to be a blend, to be honest. It has to be a little bit of gut, a lot of data to help you just make decisions. And I think it's the right approach. U.S. leagues are doing this, Premier League is doing it, so we're following suit, and it's important when you have that data available to at your disposal, you should use it. For example, when you have data about a player and injury prevention, do you just put that out the window because you feel like, a 35-year-old should be playing all 90 minutes? Or maybe should you pull him because the data is saying that he has a little bit of weakness on his right side and he isn't putting as much pressure. Like, data is really, really amazing in what it can tell you. So it's the right model. I think it has to be a mix. It can't just be all gut or all data.
Thank you. I think one more question. Sorry, Damian.
One more question?
Oh, no, we got two. Are we in trouble? Can we go?
We got time for one more. We're on a tight schedule today. So.
There's one there, and if Damian, don't look at me, there's
Hi.
one over there as well.
Hi, my name is Sanyin. Sorry about the voice, Tanya, but I have a question. You spoke about American market and revenue. How much you target immigration of Italia in USA, or is it a much bigger target USA nation and global brand of Milan? Does it depends, or it's the same way of targeting them to monetize?
I think your question is like, how much focus are we putting on the U.S.? Look, we're super lucky in the fact that we have Christian Pulisic, half American and half Croatian, which is really exciting. But he is the star of the U.S. national team, and so we're really lucky in being able to leverage him as part of our strategy. There's a lot of sponsorship dollars in the U.S., so this isn't just about monetizing the fan base. but also sponsors and companies that want to be part of this journey. So we also have tremendous relationships because of our ownership group, so why wouldn't we use that? I'll give you an example. Drake, LeBron, and the Yankees are part owners of AC Milan. That would have never happened if it wasn't for Redbird's connection. So I think it's probably the three areas of focus for us are the Middle East, the US, and clearly, Milan, Italy. And so for now, we're going pretty hard on the US.
Big round of applause for our panelists, please. Mr. Stefano Pollard, Mr. Matt Letelic, Danita Jones, Sharon Fuller, and Tanya Moreno. Thank you guys so much. Fantastic panel. We're on a tight schedule today, so 15-minute coffee break. Grab your coffees and